We argue about red versus blue every single day. We fight about immigration, healthcare, crime, past presidents. I mean, nothing is off limits. But what if we listen to someone that is seeing it from outside of the borders of the US and get their perspective? So today I am talking to someone who's 10,000 miles away in Australia and who has been watching the United States unfold from the outside. The question is simple. Does America look strong right now, or does it look unstable? I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but let's get the answer from Herf. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. First question: what does America look like from the outside? Wow.
Hmm.
It looks like a disheveled drunk.
It's not funny, but it's funny. It's sad.
It is. I mean, when I was growing up, it used to be, oh, I want to go to the States. I want to go to the States because it's the greatest country in the world. Right now, I wouldn't send a dog to the United States. And I know there's a lot of other people that are like that too. It just, having to give up 5 years worth of social media content to be allowed to cross the border is just mad crazy. We have a travel advisory from our government to say, be cautious of travelling to the United States. Leave your phone at home.
Did you ever imagine this being in the United States? A travel advisory to the United States, like the land of the free, the open border country. Did you ever imagine this?
No, not at all. And then there you hit on two things then when you said the land of the free. It doesn't look terribly free at the moment. And open borders, I mean, you've got the Statue of Liberty standing there, our huddled masses. I think she's crying at the moment because your borders aren't terribly free at all.
No, not at all. We're not even free within the borders,
Yes, that's true.
unfortunately. I brought up the divisions too, everything dividing us and on purpose, obviously. But does America look as divided from the outside as it feels on the inside?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like people have lost friendships because you voted red and you voted blue, and I can't do this because you did that. And it's like even family division. Like from what I've observed, is mum and dad vote red, so you have to vote red. But I don't want to vote red. I want to vote for the Green Party or I want to vote for this independent. No, you have to vote red. We don't have that.
Is the money in politics like it is here, there?
There is a legal limit to how much can be spent. I mean, there is a billionaire that's sponsoring this Pauline Hanson with One Nation, but even so, she still has a limit that she's allowed to spend. She can't just take billions and billions of dollars off the American or the Australian people and then basically buy an election. There's a limit on how much you can spend on advertising. There's a limit on donations given to each party, and they sometimes hide it behind polls or hide it behind or well worded polls that give a direction that they want the people to answer. We know that they can manipulate the way a poll looks by asking a certain question. So yeah, there's spending limits. You can't just can't do an Elon Musk and throw billions of dollars at the election and basically pay for the election and the propaganda that goes along with it.
What's your voting like there?
Depending on how many people are in the electorate that you are voting for, depends on how big the electoral piece of paper is. And you have to put an X in each square or a number, depending on what it is you're voting for. You can do mail in, and it has to be received before the election date. So we have our elections on a Saturday and not on a Tuesday. I don't understand why they do it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, doesn't that make more sense?
It does. I mean, I can see why they have it on a Tuesday because once upon a time it was only the rich and wealthy that voted. And that was how it was set up to start with. Now everybody can vote if they choose to. In Australia, it is mandatory. Everybody has to vote.
Really?
Absolutely. Everybody has to vote. It's preferential voting. So there could be, say, if there's 10 people running for that seat in that electorate that you live, and the one you want least to be elected, you put a 10 and 9, and then so forth, so forth, so forth.
So ranked choice voting.
Yeah, you guys call it ranked choice voting. We call it preferential voting.
It feels like our systems are so old and they need to be updated.
You do realize that they're not going to do it ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying that's why they're still doing it.
They know that if they change it, then God forbid an independent wins the presidency. I know you've got three branches of government having different people in. You either got red or blue at the moment. You don't have people that have a different voice. To the point where in Tasmania, not so long ago, they had a state election, and the person who held the balance of power was an independent. So, although the independent was not the premier of that state, that person held the power of balance of power in the parliament.
Yeah, the scales are off balance, I'll tell you. That's for sure.
It's not perfect, but it's better than having only one third of the voting population vote for someone who then becomes the president and then does what he's done.
Let's talk about the big problems like gun culture, the healthcare, the media. So what do you guys how is the gun policy viewed from Australia?
We don't have a constitution that says that we have a right to bear arms. You can still buy guns if you want. So the fallacy that Australians had their guns removed from us after Port Arthur is total bollocks. There's no other word for it. We can still have guns. There's more guns in Australia now than there ever was.
Yeah, right. Well, how do you see it here?
And the concept that more guns is going to make it safer is just ridiculous. I don't have a problem with people having guns. We just in Australia don't have a pathological need to have guns. When you hear of stories of, people having guns in their bedside table, and then child goes into the bedroom, pulls the gun out, and next thing you know, and also you have to have them secured in a gun safe, and the ammunition needs to be in a separate safe.
Ah. So what do you guys feel about Americans going bankrupt over medical bills? Is
Oh,
that
that is crazy. Here's a perfect example. So where I live, we have a regional hospital. It does not have it. It can do ultrasounds and it can do CT scans. It cannot do MRIs. I had to have an MRI 2 years ago. So that closest MRI for me, the easiest one for me to get to is in Brisbane, which is a 3-hour flight from here. So the Medicare system paid for my flights down to Brisbane. They paid $70 a night accommodation and had my MRI, and that did not cost me anything. I had to pay $40 a night for the accommodation I was in because they only subsidised $70 and food. So that's all I had to pay while I was down there. Did not pay for the MRI.
that is unheard of here?
Here in Queensland, we don't pay for ambulance. We just get taken to the closest hospital. So we have a system called PBS, Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme. Now, Donald Trump recently tried to influence the Australian government to scrap the PBS. So what the PBS does is our government goes to the pharmaceutical companies and they say, we've got 27 million people and they all need to have this medication. We want to buy 27 million prescriptions of that particular drug. And then they buy 27 million doses of that drug and they bring it to Australia and they subsidise that. So a normal, I don't know, amoxicillin, which is an antibiotic. So if I was to go get a course of amoxicillin and I was not on a healthcare card, which I have, it would cost $30, $34, because that's the government takes the burn on that. Whereas I have a healthcare card, regardless of what the cost is, my prescriptions are $7.70 each, regardless of what the medicine is. There are some that are not on the PBS system that you would have to pay for, but 99% of all medications or prescriptions in Australia are covered under the PBS system. If I spend over the threshold, which usually happens by about month 6 of the year, I get them for free.
Now, this is interesting too. Tell everybody what's your minimum wage there.
$27 an hour.
$27, you guys. It's laughable. It's despicable, isn't it? Like you said in the beginning, the United States of America used to be respected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does the slogan "Land of the Free" mean anything to you?
I mean, where are they? Where is the United States on the freedom scale of the world? I think they're like 48th or something like that.
I think we need to abolish that phrase
Yeah,
for when it comes to us, anyways.
not at all. I don't see it. Not when they're talking about forcing people to have, citizens having to carry documentation to prove that they're a citizen.
Yes. Do you see us as like Germany, or do you see a comparison, a parallel there, or are we being over?
I don't think you're entirely being over dramatic. There is a good portion of the country that would be happy to see that go further. I've watched other YouTube videos of people that want to see more ICE involvement in daily life of American people. And obviously, lots of people saying, this is just crazy. We don't need this. It's never happened before, not to this extent. Why are they masked? And the amount of people that seem to think that the rest of the world pays the tariff. No, the rest of the world doesn't pay the tariff. It's the people who are on $7.25 an hour trying to buy groceries that, tomatoes that are coming from Mexico. So there's an import duty or tariff, whatever you want to call it. And those tomatoes have gone up. Companies that want to buy aluminium from Canada or Australia or steel from Australia, those companies have to pay more for that because he's slapped tariffs on Australian steel and aluminium. And it's the end user that ends up paying for it. He's not putting the tariff on the government of that country. And I just don't comprehend why he's got his MAGA files believing that the export country pays the tariff. I don't understand why.
He's got them believing a lot of things that are untrue, and it's so exhausting to keep the truth alive, honestly. I mean, it's important as
Yes.
hell, and I'm not going to stop, but
And that's why, these independents that are trying to get elected to their local counties and states, they need to have a voice because that's the only way you can make the big two realize that there's another voice out there.
mm,
No, you're wasting your vote by voting red or blue. Stop voting red or blue.
you're right. You're absolutely right. The money out of politics is the most important thing. So the letter doesn't matter, the affiliation doesn't matter.
Yep.
That's how I look at it.
We have people that vote down the line Liberal or vote down the line Labor or vote down the line National, or then you've got the people that want to vote for something different. I mean, one of the parties we have is the Australian Sex Workers Party.
The Australian what now?
Sex Workers Party.
What is that now?
A sex worker, someone who works in the sex work.
I know what that is, but that's a party, a political party in Australia?
I think it was for a little while. I don't know if they still have accreditation, but it was a party, yes.
Who'd have thunk? Anywho.
Okay, here's another difference between your election system and our election system. So our election cycle is a 3-year cycle. You go in, you vote, you come out the other side, and you have what we call a democracy sausage. So it's a barbecue sausage with onion, barbecue sauce on a slice of buttered bread. And, it gets people down there. There's a bit of you go down and you meet your friends and you haven't seen for a while. It's a social event. That's something that, some of these smaller parties or independents could possibly use. The other thing is it's not a 12-month process. We know who the opposition leader is now. We just had an opposition leader spill. Not that I really care. I don't particularly like their policies. Their policies have been lowering social welfare. They want to take money out of Medicare. They want to take money off unemployed people. They want to take money out of pharmaceutical benefit scheme. They don't want to do anything serious for
Mm.
housing. Um,
So you're seeing effects from us,
yes,
basically.
absolutely. So the opposition party at the last election, they ran on their biggest ones that they run on was making abortions illegal, all abortions
Mm.
illegal. I'll get to another bit.
Has that ever been an issue before in your lifetime?
Uh,
Abortion.
Probably when I was maybe 18. Trump has talked big about forcing us to increase our spending budget on military
Now, why would that be?
so that you guys make more money. And he strongly believes that
How?
because most of our stuff we buy from you guys. Like we fly F-18 Hornets, we fly Super
Oh.
Hornets, we fly F-35s. I think we've got the last model Abrams tanks. We buy your second-hand shit.
And what are they doing with the money? That's what I'd like to know. Not going back to the military, I'll tell you that.
No, it goes to the government.
Exactly.
Recently, we've just signed I think the last 4 years, we signed a deal under AUKUS, I think it's called, a joint venture to buy submarines, nuclear powered submarines from the United States. It's going to be 30 years before we get a bloody submarine. We're not going to get brand new submarines.
Oh, that's insane. So, yeah, he's just profiting all over the world, not just from us.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. A lot of Americans think that, because there's only 27 million people in Australia, we're a very small country. Population wise, yes. Size wise, if you take off Alaska, we are nearly as big as the United States,
The mainland.
the
Hmm.
mainland.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is it more expensive that how's the market like that?
Oh,
Does the area affect the
oh,
prices?
oh, God, yes. Oh, absolutely. It's ridiculous. Okay, so there was a house I saw recently that was sold in New South Wales, in Sydney. It was a one-bedroom house on a very small block of land. So we're talking, I think it was 400 square meters. It sold for $3 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
We're old friends now on TikTok, so we could go on and on.
we could go on and on. If you ever want to do a follow-up and you've got 1,000 more questions, throw them at me.
Oh, absolutely. You're back. You're welcome back anytime, Herb. I love talking to you. But I want to thank you for being here and thank you for your point of view because we're kind of in this bubble here in the United States and we don't really get the outside views too often. So you're appreciated.
No problems. Thank you very much for having me on and allowing me to express my views.
Absolutely. And everybody out there, thank you for listening. And don't forget to join us next week right here on From Dirt We Grow for more awesome insight and the unfiltered truth.